Hello everyone, thanks for being here. My name is Charlotte Palmer, I'm a food specialist and nutritionist, and I've been in the natural health industry for over 20 years. I'm also a health journalist and a researcher, and as you can see, a bit of a public speaker. And I'm here to share my research with you. So although it's a talk, it's not a lecture. I'm not here to lecture you about how good or bad you've been with your diet. I'm here to just share with you my research and what I've been looking at over the past couple of decades. And and hopefully bring up some interesting discussions about things. And really, it's an expose on what we're not being told in the mainstream around food, etc. And there might be some things that you might be confronted by, but just stick with me. We can always discuss it at the end, okay? All right, so here we go. Oh, and also I wanted to mention, I'm not pushing any particular food ideology. I'm not here to push any kind of food dogma upon you. I'm not necessarily pro-vegan or pro-carnivore or anything. It's up to you. I'm just talking about food across the board, okay? Just wanted to make that clear. Right, perfect, let's go then. Oh, actually, before we go, I'd love to know what brought you here today to this talk. Anybody want to volunteer? Yes?
So I've got to lose weight to go on a heart transplant list.
Okay.
And I've been overweight all my life, so it's led me down the road of looking at nutrition. I'm on a diet kind of, I've already lost 2 stone, but I'm on a diet that is covered by the NHS. She's written a book.
Okay, all right.
And it follows one kind of idea.
Yes.
But there's so many different ideas out there.
There are. It's
How
interesting.
can they all be right?
There are so many conflicting ideologies and contradictory with information that I'm here to basically give you what is evidence-based, okay? So you can be pretty sure that what I've got here is grounded in evidence, and I'm happy to share the research with you if you're interested, okay? Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm on Carlene's program of 30 Days Health and Fitness, so you're going to give us a talk.
I am, that's right.
So it's curious, also I've been a runner for a few years. I started when I was 18, then I had a 30-year gap and started again now.
Yeah.
59 now.
Well done.
And I'm looking at what kind of food's going to support me in running.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's so many different things you hear. And
Yeah.
you just get so confused, but is this the right one?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is part of my research.
Yeah, perfect. Anyone else want to share?
I'm a nutritionist and homeopath.
Great, all right then.
So it's always good to get
All
more
right,
information and
Great.
share information.
perfect. So if obviously not for you, if the slides do seem a bit technical, don't look at the slides, just look at me, because I will just talk about it, and that's enough. But I'm sure you'll be fine with it. So here we go. We're going to this is a really great picture by I don't know if you've heard of him, Peter Wensley. It's called Hungry Planet. Has anyone heard of Peter Wensley, Hungry Planet? You can look him up online, and he has got photographs of families and their weekly shop from all over the world. And it is an extraordinary insight into, how people live all around the world, and, how much money they spend. And it's interesting because the people that are on the lowest amount of money and kind of the poorest live on very simple food. Sometimes they look the healthiest. So it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. So this is what we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about how our modern diet is impacted by what the food industry doesn't want to tell you, basically. So this is the government Eat Well plate. And it is...
Are you okay to actually step down? Because I can't see, I don't know, maybe some other people.
I'll stand here, that's better, isn't it? Okay. Stand here?
Can everyone see?
Great, lovely. This is the government Eat Well, that's so much better. I didn't feel comfortable standing up there, like looking over everyone. Government Eat Well plate. I would call it the Eat Bad plate, personally. And obviously this is for you to make up your own mind as we go through this talk. But this is, for me, the reason why we have some serious health crisis issues in this country, because of these guidelines. So the question we're asking is this a healthy, balanced device here? So there are some I've been looking online at statistics, and the statistics are pretty shocking about what's going on in the UK. It's going on globally, but it's also going on in the UK. And metabolic syndrome is on the rise. It's been on the rise for quite some time, but it's reaching really huge proportions. We have over 2.7 million people, probably more than that now, because these are probably outdated by the time I'm speaking today. People with heart disease, 1 in 88 children diagnosed with ADSD or learning disorders or autism, anything like that. And we've got a huge surge in neurodegenerative problems, a huge surge, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, you name it. There's 900,000 people alone with Parkinson's living in this country, if not more. And at the cost to the NHS and the UK economy of billions a week. So obesity in England has doubled in the last 25 years, but obviously it's doubling globally. But it's particularly high in the UK. And we have some serious issues with childhood obesity as well. So the question we're going to ask is, what would life look like if we didn't crave or need sweet things, junk foods, snacks, carbohydrates, stimulants, and we had all the focus and the energy that we wanted, that we were able to fulfill upon our potential, our full potential, live an optimal life? What would life look like? So that is something worth considering, and we're going to look at how we might achieve that. So I'm going to deal with my first myth, okay, which is calories. Calories are measurements of energy. And I know we think of calories as something that makes us fat, calorific, but actually they're there to give us energy. Calories are all determined by what kinds of foods you're eating. They're not necessarily straight across the board the same thing. So you can eat lots and lots of, let's say you eat lots and lots of calorific food, but it's greens and it's coconut oil. Or you could eat just a couple of slices of bread and some pasta, but maybe not as much as the other person, but you can still end up putting weight on. It's not because of the calories, it's because of the carbohydrate count. And that's what counts, the carbohydrate count. It's got nothing to do with calories, pretty much. I mean, calories are there for energy, and we all want more energy, right?
Yes.
Yes, we all want more energy. So think about calories in a positive way. I want energy. I think I'll have this thing that's rich in good calories with lots of nutrition in it.
Yay!
So not all calories are bad calories. Alkaline diets. I'm trying to understand how they work, because we have different pHs all around the body, and your gut has got to be acidic in order to digest nutrients. So what happens when you're eating a totally alkaline diet? You're actually cutting out some really important food groups and some really important nutrition. I mean, acid is actually quite important. You know, when you think about it, fatty acids, amino acids, lactic acid. We need a certain amount of acid in the body for everything to work optimally. So it is how your body works. Your body has an excellent buffer system, okay? So your body will regulate what you're eating. If you were too acidic, you probably wouldn't be around. You can eat very acidic foods and put your body under a lot of stress. I'm not denying that, okay? And you can also get alkalosis as well for overdoing it on the alkaline diet. So it's about getting a balance. Food, we should really ideally focus on the nutrition elements of the food rather than looking at it from an acid-alkaline perspective. This is one of my favourite subjects. I love talking about fats and oils. I think that too many people have been misguided around fats and oils. Vegetable oils. These vegetable oils are really toxic, super toxic. Especially the fact that they're in these plastic see-through bottles. They are exposed to heat, light and oxygen. Now these are polyunsaturates and they're basically omega-3s and 6s. Omega-3 is completely destroyed, but omega-6 holds on, but in a corrupted fashion. And this omega-6 is what's inflammatory. And this is the underpinning to a lot of our health problems in this country, is this inflammatory omega-6, which is causing huge amounts of problems. And there's plenty of research to support what I've just told you, but for some reason it's not getting out there in the mainstream. We're not being told this on the NHS. We're not being told this in the newspapers. We're certainly not on the adverts or on the government Eat Well plate. When the government Eat Well plate says, reduce your fats, they don't give you the distinction between a good fat and a bad fat. So, what do? Saturates, in comparison, are very heat stable. They don't oxidize like omega-6s, like polyunsaturates. And
So what shall we buy actually?
Yeah,
Of that?
I'll be coming to that.
Not rapeseed.
That's right, exactly. That's my
The
bugbear.
most toxic thing there is, and it's in everything.
That's right. And I'm going to come to that for sure. Okay, so cooking with vegetable oils causes toxic cancer-causing chemicals, say the experts. This was from a tweet from Dr. Asim Malhotra, actually, who's a cardiologist. And if you're interested in this particular subject, Dr. Asim Malhotra is a great person to follow. He's very pro-saturated fat and then very anti-polyunsaturates. Rapeseed oil in particular is very, very toxic. It has a toxin in it called uric acid. And uric acid attacks your central nervous system and it's been linked to Alzheimer's. So it's not nice and it's only in our diet for economical reasons. It's not for health reasons.
Why don't they ban it from the supermarkets?
If they banned 80% of the food in supermarkets didn't exist 100 years ago. If they banned what was bad for us, the supermarket would have an apple and a bit of celery in it left in there. It'd have to be organic as well, because everything else, and maybe a box of blueberries. I mean, they'd have to get rid of half their food, This is about economics. It's got nothing to do with your health. The food industry are actually being given too much responsibility by the government to dictate how people eat. That's the problem. And it's not in their interest to have you be happy and healthy.
Sorry, I think the rape oil that you're talking about, that's it. So is it the plant that's toxic or?
It's a seed, isn't it? The seed that you're in the little, you see those big fields of yellow flowers? Yeah, it's in the seed.
Because people eat the vegetable though as well, no?
I've never heard of anyone eat a rapeseed plant. No.
No.
But the seed is toxic.
Okay.
But we haven't been eating. Our ancestors weren't pressing oils out of seeds. This is a modern phenomenon. This is, it's not natural. It's not right. And we weren't even designed to be eating things like that. We just weren't designed. When you think about it, how can an ancient food be responsible for a modern problem? Things like butter and lard and goose fat and coconut oil. Let's talk about margarine. It's my great ambition to see every margarine company go bankrupt before I die. Who's in it with me? Thank you. It is nasty, nasty stuff. It's poisonous. I don't know how strong I can be about this. How many of those ingredients in there do you recognise as actual food?
This is a bit unclear.
It's a bit unclear. All right. Well, propylene glycol, trimethyl hexanol. There's all sorts of horrible ingredients in margarine. It's not natural to solidify seed oils. They don't naturally solidify in nature. They don't, not like a coconut oil does, to different temperatures. Seed oils are naturally just runny. They're not supposed to be solidified. So what they do is they extract the seeds using petroleum-based solvents, and they go through all these different chemical processes.
I did come in late, so I apologise if I've missed something.
Okay.
Coming out of, I had a bottle of supposedly really high quality olive oil. Now, I kept it outside in this sort of outbuilding that we have. It's solidified.
Right.
And I was hugely puzzled by that because I never saw that
That's a
before.
great question, yes.
And I was thinking, and then I went on the internet and it told me that it was obviously absolutely natural for that to happen.
That's right, yeah.
But then I was just left with many question marks.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, was this the correct thing to happen?
Well,
or was it
actually,
not?
olive oil is partly saturated fat.
And that was okay.
It's got more saturated fat than a pork chop, basically. It's partly monounsaturated and it's partly polyunsaturated. So it's a blend of all three.
Yes.
Yes. So the polyunsaturated part of it is not so great if you heat it. It's fine if you put it on your salad. But the saturate part is the part that's stable.
Sure, okay.
But it's not ideal for anything high smoke point. Absolutely not. It's got no, it doesn't have a high smoke
So
point.
if it solidifies, is that all right or is it not?
Yeah, that's normal because of the saturates. Saturates do things like butter and coconut oil, those kind of things, palm oil, they're all kind of solidified in the cold. Yeah, that's kind of, it tells you a lot about it, doesn't it?
Yes.
So it goes through all these awful treatments of degumming and bleaching and hydrogenation, and they end up with a kind of trace of nickel, a metal that is known to cause cancer in them. That's not real food.
Charlotte, 16 minutes have passed.
Okay, thank you very much. That's not real food, okay? That is synthetic, a molecule away from being plastic, replacement for food. It doesn't qualify to be called food. Have I drummed it in enough?
Yes.
Great. And that's ingredients in butter. Cream and a little bit. I just want to add that butter actually feeds your mitochondria, which is your energy power pack in every cell in your body. So if you want more energy, eat butter. Unless you're vegan, and that's fine, eat coconut oil. Same thing.
I noticed that butters and stuff are trying to sort of mess around with it as well.
Yeah, spreadable butters. It's just a con. It just means that they can, water it down and sell it for more and make more money. That's all it is. Don't buy into the con. Because they're stable fats, you can put them in a butter dish and you don't have to put them in the fridge.
That's what I did years ago.
Exactly. There you go. It's traditional. We all ate butter from butter dishes. Well, our ancestors and our grandmothers. Yeah, completely normal. So there's this myth that's been going around since the 1950s when Dr. Ansel Keys had a hypothesis that saturated fat caused heart disease. And you know what? It's never been proven. It's never been proven. And yet that old dogmas die hard. Yes? How can an ancient food be the cause of a modern problem? None of these statements are true. None of these statements are true. It does not clog your arteries. It doesn't cause cancer, unless, of course, you've hydrogenated it. And that's when you start running into problems. It doesn't make you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. Okay? And they did some studies. There's quite a lot of studies out there. Here's just a few. They fed children on low-fat milk, on low-fat diets, and they got fatter. Also, women on low-fat milk had fertility problems because our hormones run off the back of saturated fats. And Swedish women using cheese and full-fat dairy lost weight.
Do you find as well that if you, say for instance, buy low-fat yogurt, surely they actually
They do, but do you know what you have when you take fat out of dairy? Do you know what's left? A bit of protein and lactose, which is sugar. So it's already got its own sugar in it. Plus they add more if it's yogurt. So even if you're drinking skimmed or semi-skimmed milk, you're still drinking sugar because it's lactose. Anything with the word "ose" at the end is sugar.
How about those products that we have nowadays that are lactose free? You know, like lactose free milk.
Yeah.
Like I can't have lactose, so I have to opt for those products, and I have been, but ever since I've done it, yes, some of my other symptoms have improved, but actually, I'm not so sure in the long run whether this is the answer for my problems, because I'm not so sure whether it's not bringing up
I think
why
that,
products
yeah.
are problematic.
well, yeah, absolutely. I completely get what you're at. But there are so many alternatives these days. There's goat milk, there's plant milks, there's every kind of milk available on the planet.
Sure, there is,
Yes.
but the question that I'm asking you
Yes.
specifically is that, I mean, because we're talking about low fat, so it's
Yes.
fat free. So would you apply the same logic to the lactose free products that are out there? Do you not have the? Sorry, I'm not familiar.
Well, I get what you're saying, and yes, there is an issue. Obviously, you're taking the lactose out, so that's not so much of an issue. But it's still pasteurised, and it's still not necessarily ideal. Dairy can be inflammatory for some people, not everybody, but a lot of people find that dairy is inflammatory for them. We will be talking about this later on in the slide. So, yes. Okay, right. So we go. So butter does have value. It has nutritional value, and we need these fat-soluble vitamins in our diet. A lot of us are deficient, especially women, in vitamin A. Going on low-fat diets, it is a common problem. And fat is essential for every cell in the body. We need it for so many different functions. Eyesight, bone health, heart health, A, D, E, and K. You need to absorb all your nutrients. And also essential fatty acids, cofactors for essential fatty acids. We do need a balance of all the right fats, but not the wrong fats. I'm personally a fan of ghee. I like to cook in ghee. I think it's got very high smoking point. And guess what? The Indians have been cooking in it for millennia with no problems, no heart problems, no major issues around coronary heart disease. In Ayurveda, they see it as a superfood. They class it as a superfood. And it's got lots of important nutrients in it. Vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin K. Cook your food in it, perfectly safe. It's not overpowering in its flavour. So it's a lovely thing to cook in. And ideally, if you can get grass-fed, that would be the best thing to do. But if you don't eat butter, that's perfectly fine. You can go with coconut oil. You can even get deodorized coconut oil. Again, it's a saturated fat. It's really great at room temperature in the cupboard. You don't need to refrigerate it. And it has caprylic acid in it, which is a great antibacterial, antifungal. And it's got protective qualities, so it's rich in vitamin E. So it's another one ideal if you want to make stir fries or curries or things like that. But I recommend not overdoing it with frying and stir frying, etc.
Yeah, I use it as a summer detector.
That's right, yes. Yeah, you can use it as a summer detector. Once it starts to go liquid in your cupboard, then you know it's summer. So this is a study they did in Framingham, Massachusetts, and I stole this off of Dr. Malcolm Kendrick, who wrote The Great Cholesterol Con. He's quoted this. They found it was over a 40-year study with thousands and thousands of people in Massachusetts that the more saturated fat they ate, the more cholesterol they ate, and the more calories they ate, the lower weight they were, and they just found that they were less chance of having a heart attack. So it goes against everything that we're being told, that we're being, fed by the food industry. And contrary to popular opinion, We do need cholesterol in our diets. We do need cholesterol in our bodies. It's a building block to life. We all need cholesterol. Your brain is made of cholesterol. You look at an egg, that is cholesterol. That's to build a chicken. So it's a building block to life. It's not a dirty word. You know, cholesterol is something that you need. It's vital. It protects you against cancer and Alzheimer's. You know? Why would you want to be reducing your cholesterol? Unless, of course, you've got oxidation, you've got inflammation going on. That's a different matter, though. But the majority of cholesterol is not coming from food. Your liver is making a lot of that, and why would it make something that's bad for it? But you need good nutrients. You need good food, and it doesn't. You know, eggs are good. Eggs are rich in choline, great for the brain, which is what I feel I need right now. It's a powerful antioxidant. And also, when you go out in the sunlight interacts with the cholesterol under your skin to create vitamin D. And that's really important for your immune system, for your bone health, everything. So egg yolks are definitely more... Have you seen those egg whites, those pots of egg white only things you see in the shop sometimes? Aren't they awful? Why would you want that? That's the worst bit. I throw my egg white away. I just want the egg yolk. That's a nutritious part of the egg. That's the bit that you want if you're going to...
The yellow bit.
The yellow part, the yellow yolk, yes. Very, very high. If you get free range and organic eggs, they are more nutritious.
Is it true what they say you shouldn't eat too many eggs?
No, that's not true.
You can eat as many eggs as you like in one day.
The recommendation by some people is 4 to 5 eggs a day. I can't imagine you wanting to eat any more than that, to be honest. No? I challenge you, though. Imagine an omelette made out of 10 eggs.
Again, that's so you shouldn't eat more than 2 eggs a day to give you bad heart.
What a load of old rubbish.
Is there, you know how some yolks can be lighter than others? Like some yolks can be nearly orange. Is that something to take notice of?
I don't know.
That's what the chickens are eating.
Yeah, completely down to their diet. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But I like orange yolks. I think they taste delicious, personally. Yes.
One thing I've noticed is that when you buy organic egg and you buy the normal cage egg, the yolk can be different and the taste can be different as well.
Yes, of course it is, because that chicken's been sitting in some horrible cramped up cage being fed rubbish. And it's full of fear hormones, it's pecking itself to death. I don't think it should be illegal for us to be doing that and buying it, you know.
And the stuff they feed them also gets into the meat of the chicken.
That's right.
And it doesn't break down, so we end up eating it.
Exactly.
And it's toxic.
That's right.
So organic or grass-fed is far better than anything that they're putting with pellets. The dried egg feed is full of rubbish.
For sure, for sure. I'll take you to my next talk. That's all right, that's good. So vitamin K2, it is mainly found in animal products and fermented foods. And we do need it. It helps us place calcium where it needs to go rather than in the arteries. So beware of all those plant milks full of enriched calcium. Go straight to your arteries. You need K2 to place it where it needs to be. And it is abundant in things like chicken livers, as long as they're organic. And, fermented plant foods, natto is a good example. Hard cheeses, soft cheeses, and butter, of course, all from grass-fed cows, ideally. And it's very protective against prostate cancer as well. It's really important. And, I just as a kind of add in here, I noticed when George Monbiot, the Guardian journalist, went vegan, he got prostate cancer a few months later. I thought, how uncannily coincidental is that? He's obviously taken K2 out of his diet completely. Because he went really kind of, extreme with it. So you can get K1 in dark green leafy vegetables, but K2 is the one that you need, and that's for your bones and your teeth, and that's what you get in your fermented foods, your animal foods, mainly in animal foods or fermented foods. So we do need some animal foods, contrary to the popular opinion that it's if you eat meat these days, it's it's unethical or it's untrendy. It's unfashionable these days. Yeah.
When you say fermented foods, does that include like kimchi? You get?
Yep. Sauerkraut. I'm going to be talking about that anyway. Don't worry. I'm going to come to it. I'm a big fermented food. So I just want to talk quickly about functional probiotic drinks. Anyone here? You don't have to tell me, but if anyone here drinks them, I'm going to put you off them right now. They're a complete and utter and total waste of money. And, I think I've got that in the wrong place. Right.
Half an hour, Charlotte.
I've got half an hour. I better hurry up then. Oh, sorry, I'm halfway through. That's fine. I'm good. Okay. Functional bread. All right, let's go on to bread. Let's go on to bread. I'll come back to probiotic drinks. Okay. Is bread our friend or our foe? Well, our ancestors didn't eat the bread that we eat today. The bread that we eat today is, how can I put this nicely?
Not very good.
Yes, not very good. It's basically industrial. It's super fast. It's flour. It's industrial flour improvers. It's industrial yeast. It's full of toxic oils like rapeseed oil. It's full of sugar. It's full of soya flour, which is a hormone disruptor. Modern processed breads are the enemy of your gut health. The enemy of your gut health. And if your gut is out of balance, we're now looking at the foundations of leading to other things. Poor gut health can lead to all sorts of other kinds of problems, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. We're going to come on to that before I leap ahead. So,
Sorry, can I just wait? If you make your own bread, then you're fine.
are you fermenting it?
I've got a sourdough starter.
Lovely. That's great.
So,
And is it?
moderation, it's fine.
Is it? If you find you're okay with wheat, is it organic?
It's organic flour, though.
Yeah. Well, if you find you're okay with it, not everyone is.
Right.
It's a personal choice. Like I said, not going to persuade you otherwise.
Sorry, I was going to say, what is an example of fermented, long fermented breads?
Sourdoughs.
Sourdough.
Yeah, sourdoughs. Yeah. And you get them pretty much anywhere these days, actually. Yeah. And I'm going to explain to you why you need these fermented sourdoughs. You see, the bran of the grain has lots of anti-nutrients in it. It's called phytic acid, and it also has lectins in it as well. And they're like little spikes, and they kind of permeate your gut lining, and your tight junctions open up, and that's where you get leaky gut. It's termed as leaky gut. And that causes all kinds of problems, which I will talk about. And this bran is a nutrient blocker. So it blocks calcium, magnesium, copper, iron, and especially zinc in your body. So when you consider that you need magnesium for energy, how does that give you energy? That's what I want to know. How do any of these wheat-based things, cereals, give you energy?
Is there any, this whole notion of like light and dark bread, is that all rubbish or is there?
It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish, yes. Because you've got to think about your anti-nutrients, you've got to think about all the other things that are in that. Grains need to be fermented to neutralise the phytic acid in them. Plants don't want you to eat them. They want to grow into a healthy plant, and they have these mechanisms in them to protect themselves, and they're called anti-nutrients. And lots of plants have anti-nutrients in them. And we need to just be aware of them. That's it, really. So these are some of the issues with grains. So phytic acid, as I said, and it binds to minerals, inhibiting their absorption in the body. So a lot of people find that they get really tired and bloated when they're eating wheat, especially unfermented wheat. So it could be a problem for some people, especially people who have already got compromised digestive systems. And a lot of us have these days, let's face facts.
Do you think it's because of the chemicals, though, that they...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, non-organic wheat is covered in chemicals. Yes, for sure. There's pesticides and what they use to dry it when they've just harvested the wheat grain. It's covered in pesticides. So it is an issue. It's a big issue.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that one. Did you say about organic?
No, I was just saying about, is the main problem that we can't eat wheat because they spray all of the plants and stuff with, pesticides.
Yeah, that's right. So, and there's all kind of proteins in wheat that cause all kinds of problems. So the amino acid sequences that are in the body tissue can cause autoimmune diseases. But leaky gut can lead to autoimmune anyway. But this isn't helping. Soya. They don't drink gallons of soya milk over in the East. They don't go and buy cartons of soya milk in the supermarket and then drink gallons of it. They eat soya just a small bit on the side of their plate as an accompaniment. They're not eating gallons of soya. And it's got lots and lots of toxins in it, lots of natural toxins in it. And if you ferment soya, and I can see Jill's nodding because Jill knows this, if you ferment soya, then you transform it into a superfood. And you can get fermented soyas. Just look out for them if that's what you want. I think Thai Fund do a fermented soya. And there are lots of options, aren't there, Jill? Exactly. So you still got to check your ingredients.
Okay. I mean, I've noticed I've got this thing, I love soya sauce, but soya milk makes me feel really bad.
Absolutely.
Straight away.
Soya sauce and miso are fantastic if they're properly brewed. They're superfoods. But soya milk is not. It's not a superfood. It hasn't got any value to it as far as I'm concerned, but that's my opinion.
How about this soya yogurts you get nowadays, the alternative to dairy yogurt?
No.
No?
Try the coconut ones. They're much better.
What about soya beans to cook as in beans? But it's organic. Then you soak it and cook it. You know what I mean?
Jill's shaking her head. Jill is an educator in this area.
Soy is very difficult on the digestion. Okay, perhaps the beans, but I've never actually cooked those. But a fish hay, and I wouldn't even bother germinating them. It's a smelly process. Like many beans, it should be germinated, easier on the digestion.
Yes.
But soy, for some reason, is a very difficult one to.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So soya beans, no. So you're saying soya beans, no.
But once it's fermented, the fermented, as we were saying,
Then it's fine.
that's officially much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check the ingredients.
That's right.
Adding stuff.
That's right. Absolutely 100%. There you go. So sprouting and fermenting is something we are having a renaissance in that, but we did lose it for quite some time. But it's something our ancestors did a lot more. Hence, they weren't getting chronic fatigue and all kinds of health problems as we are now. Even fermenting dairy into kefir can be very, very nutritious for a lot of people. And it neutralizes a lot of the anti-nutrients. So you're actually awakening the nutrition in the seed, the grain, the legume, and it's coming alive and it's giving you nutrients. So fermented foods are what you call transient probiotics. So you eat them every day and they take probiotics all the way down into your digestive system. And they keep your microbiome nice and healthy. Sauerkraut is really great, really high in vitamin C. It's fantastic. It's a superfood as far as I'm concerned. And having a teaspoon of that with your meal every day, it aids digestion. And it's good for even your skin, It's supposed to be a beauty food. It's got a powerful antioxidant in there. It's good for your skin. And obviously vitamin C, which is a powerful antioxidant. So I like to have a bit of fun in my talks. So, I tell you what, if anyone did that, we'd have the roof off, wouldn't we? So a healthy gut, actually, I mean, some people say, oh yeah, I'm all right. I regularly evacuate my bowels once a week. Some people say that. I mean, even once a day. I mean, ideally, you'd be evacuating twice a day if you're eating well, if you're eating good food. That's when things are working optimally. And you don't just lose weight by walking down the road and you just drop it on the pavement, But you don't wake up in the morning and go, I'll just leave my weight behind on the pillow. You actually have to evacuate a lot of it. So, you know, going to the toilet is a really good tip to lose weight, basically. Because not in the extreme way of just all day on the toilet with diarrhea, but you know, upping your digestion is an important factor in weight loss, because if your gut microbiome is out of balance, it doesn't quite know whether to store your food as fat or to use it for energy. It's sort of...
I think I'm eating healthily, I'm going by the book.
Yes.
But as I say, you go on the internet and it totally contradicts
That's right.
what she says.
It's the wrong book, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, she is like...
I'd love to, at the end, I'd love have a look at it, and then we can talk about because there's loads of rubbish on the internet, right? There's tons of rubbish on the internet, you know.
There is.
Totally.
To lose weight for, like, potentially life or death.
Yes.
It's important to me that I know the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, your gut is key to that. Yeah. 85% approximately of the immune system resides in the gut. And yeah, you know, if you don't look after your gut, then other things can happen. We can end up with compromised immunity, autoimmune diseases. There are actually now studies in nature.com that connect Parkinson's with leaky gut, and that's a fact. So it's not surprising. All kinds of gut problems are rooted in all kinds of modern diseases. There's a huge connection between leaky gut, metabolic syndrome, and neurodegenerative problems now. And that's why we have a huge rise in neurodegenerative problems. And everyone here is young, but, you know, if you don't make time for your health now, then your health will force you to make time for it later. Yes? And that's a kind of a wake-up call, really. But as I said, I'm not here to lecture you. Just here to share. So, leaky gut is common, more common than you think, because we're all eating lots of phytates and lectins. We're eating loads of bread and all sorts of stuff on the go. And this encourages leaky gut. And, you know, you've got substances that are traveling in and out that shouldn't be traveling in and out. And this can lead on to autoimmune, Parkinson's, dementia, and diabetes, as I've mentioned. And these are all in studies, by the way. These are all factual. The link's been made, and I'm happy to share any studies with anyone that's interested in a particular subject. And also, you can just end up feeling just tired and foggy-headed, and you know, you make the chemicals for your brain are made in your gut. So if you feel kind of brain foggy, or you feel like you've got cognitive decline, or you feel, you know, I don't know, even depression, you can sort that out by resolving your gut issues. It's a big key thing. Here we go, functional foods, probiotic drinks. Right, there you go, a nice appropriate grimace there. These are a waste of money. I'll tell you why. Basically, they were looked at by an independent assessor, and they found that they had not, you know, they couldn't back up any claims. They couldn't find any evidence that they actually worked.
What about Yakult?
Sorry?
Yakult.
Yeah, same thing. All the same thing. Yeah, I did actually have I changed this PowerPoint. I did actually have a picture of Yakult. Probably not get away with it though. So if you look at the ingredients list, it's basically full of skimmed milk powder, which is basically a dead food, UHT, which means they've heated it to really high temperatures, and they homogenized it and added loads of dextrose and sugar. And dextrose is a sugar. Anything OSE at the end is a type of sugar. And the thing is that sugar feeds your pathogens in your gut, and pathogens fight for space with your friendly bacteria. So how does that work? Somebody tell me, how does that work? You know, you're drinking something that's supposed to be good for your gut, and it's full of sugar?
It's so bad that they use that as their selling point, and they can't back it up. You know,
it's disgusting, isn't it?
Advertising-wise. Yeah.
You know, if I had all day, I can go through every advert and we could criticise it. You know, we could pick it apart.
I said to someone, I found out today that they're a load of old rubbish, and I know you have them. They say, but
Yeah.
they say that, so they would think that someone's done an inquiry and double checked they can back it up. People presume that.
Yes.
Or you advertise that, but it's not the case.
No, it's not the case. The thing is that the television, anyone that can spend a few £1 million on a marketing budget, you can be absolutely sure they're not spending it on the quality of the food.
But you could even go and write about, we could all log on to Wikipedia and change all of the information.
You can.
So many people.
That's right.
On Wikipedia. We can go and change every single article right now.
That's right.
And put in our own content.
That's right. You can't trust
There are people
Wikipedia.
who verify that there are discussions.
Yeah,
It's not
I
that
mean,
easy.
but you know, like the premise is that the internet is not to be trusted, that they're just
Well,
ordinary
nothing
Yeah.
is to be trusted. Internet is just one thing of life.
It's a resource, isn't it? Not a Bible.
That's right. It's all about discrimination and looking at something and then going, well, how many other studies are there to back this up? And following that rather than just reading somebody's blog and telling you to just live on, like Banana Girl, telling you to live on bananas all day, every day, you know?
15
Right, okay,
minutes.
15 minutes, okay. I'm not a fan of microwaves. I don't think that they're healthy. Absolutely 100% not. And they definitely affect your immunity and they destroy the nutrients in your body. Radiating your food is not normal, and I don't think any of our ancestors were doing it. Eat more sea vegetables. Eat more sea vegetables because they are incredibly nutrient dense, have all the micro minerals that are missing in land vegetables in them. They're broader than any other vegetable on the planet. They're prebiotics. They feed your friendly bacteria. They're detoxifying, and they're great for your thyroid, which again helps your metabolism. Million and one things they're good for. I've got literature over there about it if you want to read more about seaweed. I'm feeling I've got a yes.
Very quickly, what is brown rack?
They're a type of seaweed. You know, you get a whole range of species of seaweeds, and you get kelp, and you get
My Irish family used to have that.
yeah,
It's like a
lava bread, yeah. Yeah, it's so incredibly nutritious you can't imagine. It would be key for you, to be honest. Key. Yes, without a doubt, yeah. Brown racks are the most nutritious, and that's sea greens, which I have some literature about over there, if anyone wants to find out about it. And eating more fermented foods will help with your energy, with your metabolism, and your gut health, obviously. I've actually been gifted some apple cider vinegar by Willy's to give everyone in here. So thank you to Willy's. Yes, bottle of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to talk about it, so yeah. Kefir is the traditional yogurt. It's what the goat herders would drink about 5,000 years ago in the Caucasus Mountains, and it's incredibly rich in probiotics. Modern yogurts have barely got any bacteria that's relevant to our gut bacteria these days. They're pretty irrelevant, actually. So kefir is much more powerful if you've got any kind of gut problems. The woman that runs Nourish Kefir, she actually cured her Crohn's with kefir, hence why she started up the business.
And it's great fun to do it at home.
Yeah, it's great fun to make it at home. Yeah, you can get the grains for free. You can join a community and someone will give you some grains.
It's far better to do it from home. At home
It is.
than to buy it bottled.
But yeah, you've got to be really good. You've got to feed it, you've got to be like a mother.
Yeah.
Feed it like a baby. It goes, Mummy, I want some more. You've got to keep feeding it. That's right. And you can bake it out of goat milk, raw goat milk, cow milk, raw cow milk. You can make it out of anything. There you go, Willy's. Really fantastic product this is, because Willy's are, doing it the proper way, fermenting it properly from their own orchards, and it's all organic. And they've so generously given us a bottle each. It would be perfect for you, yes. It's not perfect for everybody, but try it. And since we're giving it out free, then you can find out, can't you?
My auntie used to go on about apple cider vinegar 35 years ago.
There you go,
And
yeah.
everyone used to think she was a bit crazy.
Right.
And but she was connecting it to arthritis.
Yeah, no, it's good.
She wrote about 8 books. She's got a clinic in Kenilworth.
Yeah,
And now it's all everyone talks about.
yeah.
Ahead of the time.
Yes. If acid reflux generally tends to be someone who's low in acid, so you need to get your acid production up, and you can do that with this and with a few other things. You're welcome to talk to me at the end actually about that.
You know your point about it ideal for diabetics, is that type 1 or type 2 diabetics?
I'm not allowed to talk about type 1. But type 2 for
I'm
sure.
type 1, that's why I asked.
Okay, all right. Well, you'll be insulin dependent, so yeah. I'm not really at liberty to give you advice about that. I'm not at liberty.
You're not at liberty?
No, I'm not at liberty. Your body's your own.
I understand.
But it's certainly very good for getting things moving. It's, it's amazing. It's actually been shown in studies to help with depression. So it's an amazing product, and I love
It's got to
it.
be the right type, hasn't it? Can't just buy any.
No, it's got to be raw. It's got to have the mother in it. This is unpasteurised, raw and unpasteurised with the mother. Yeah, this is the real deal.
Okay. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Thank you. Kombucha. Just tell you quickly, kombucha is very similar in its acid profile to apple cider vinegar, and it is an amazing drink. Has anyone here tried kombucha? Yeah? Yes? I know. I know you have. Well, a lot of kombuchas that you buy in the supermarket, unfortunately, have added carbonation to them. So they're not true kombuchas. I've got a friend who makes kombucha, and he's won awards for it. He's actually just won Taste of England award, or Taste of South East England. Anyway, he's won loads of awards for his kombucha. It's called purekombucha.co.uk, and he sells at farmers markets all around London. So I recommend his because it is very, very high in probiotics. Got 10 minutes, yes? I know. Right, so it's amazing for inflammation if you've got joint problems, you've got joint pain, yes?
I was going to say with kombucha, because I don't drink alcohol, I'm always asked to bring the non-alcoholic bottles, and I always take kombucha or something of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And everybody who drinks alcohol all love it.
Oh yeah, totally.
They can't bring it again.
There is a trace of alcohol in it, but it's 0.01%, I think. So if you're alcohol sensitive, then think twice about that. This is another salt. So sea salt maintains electrolyte balance, and sea salt has magnesium in it, which helps to kind of balance the heart muscle, helps to relax the heart muscle. Sorry. And we need salt, contrary to popular opinion. And there isn't currently any data that links salt to hypertension, sea salt that is. But there is a small amount of the population, that's about 1% of the population, who are salt sensitive. So if you are salt sensitive, or you could find out, then obviously that is completely separate to this. But table salt is chemically processed and bleached and stripped away all of its minerals. Real sea salt has something like 180 minerals in it. It's really good stuff, and we need it. So fructose. Fructose is actually more of the contributor to high blood pressure than salt could ever be, and it really does mess with your liver. It's actually highly lipogenic, which means it adds weight on you very quickly. And it can cause all kinds of problems with blood sugar problems, especially if you're trying to keep your blood sugar levels balanced and have discipline of steel, and you can't because you've just drunk a big glass of orange juice. And you'll definitely be craving things later on in the day. And sugar, highly acidic, highly addictive. I'm actually doing a free webinar about sugar on the 3rd of July. And if you'd like to join it, then my cards are over there. And I'm going to be talking about all the elements of sugar, good sugars, bad sugars, everything in between, and how to really manage your sugar cravings, and how to really have discipline, and what strategies you can use to do that. Fizzy drinks, carbonated energy drinks. Sugar actually poisons your mitochondria. It poisons it. And your mitochondria is what gives you energy. Why would you want to drink something that poisons your mitochondria? That is false energy. That is not real energy. There might be caffeine in it, which will end up draining your adrenals. There could be loads of synthetic sweeteners. The synthetic sweeteners are toxic. They still stimulate the sweet receptors in your body. You can still get diabetes from using synthetic sweeteners.
How about carbonated water?
Carbonated water.
Sparkling water?
Occasionally it's fine, I guess. Yeah, occasionally. In fact, I've used it in these apple cider vinegar drinks, actually, which John's very kindly offered to give out. So if anyone wants to try some of the apple cider, I've mixed it with a little bit of apple juice and loads of Highland Spring fizzy water to make a kind of a healthy kind of kombucha-y kind of drink. So if anybody fancies some, my attractive young assistant over there is going to hand a few out.
Are you saying that carbonated water is not anything akin to soda?
This is different. Yeah, this is different. This is, I mean, you know, yeah. I'm not an expert on carbonated water, but even I drink carbonated water occasionally. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. They've got mineral water's got minerals in it.
I mean, I'm for it. I'm just asking.
Yeah. I use Highland Spring, and I think it's a really nice water. And yeah, it's got minerals in it.
So occasional gin and tonic is fine. Yeah.
For you, maybe. If that, yeah. So yeah, so aspartame has been linked with all sorts of health problems, and yeah, it's not to be taken lightly, and it can still cause diabetes. So that's what you get in a typical energy drink. Does that look healthy to you? If you're eating a healthful diet, you should have energy. You shouldn't need something like that. That is, yeah, that's not right. That's 5 minutes. Right, okay. Okay, let's quickly race through this dairy inflammatory. Some people find dairy inflammatory. It's full of hormones, antibiotics, especially if it's not organic. And yeah, for me personally, I love butter, but milk can, give me skin problems. So everybody's different, okay? So you've just got to find out what works for you. Kefir, cheese, butter, cream works for a lot of people, and it's fine. Just see how you feel. If you get bloating and wind after drinking or eating dairy, then you have a problem digesting dairy, basically.
What's it by 90%? Do you mean straight from the cow?
Oh, sorry, that was from a study they did. No, 90. Raw milk's unpasteurised.
Okay, so yeah, when I was on holiday, we went to dairy farm.
Yes.
So they'd have milk straight from the cow. So you mean that? Yeah.
That's right, raw and unpasteurised. A lot of people find that raw milk's really great, and 90% of people who are lactose intolerant actually find that they can drink raw milk fine, and it's perfectly okay. And I've drunk a lot of raw milk, and I personally prefer goat. So organic food, you don't have to be super rich and spend I've got to go. Right, you don't have to be super rich to buy organic food, but there are certain things that are important. And is there a perfect diet? I'm finished now. There isn't a perfect diet. And that's my top tips. And there you go, that's the end of my talk. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. If anybody would like to be part of my club, anybody would like to go on my Facebook group, Busting Food and Diet Myths, or be part of the webinar we're giving on the July the 3rd, then come over here and chat with me, and I'll give you my card. We can sort that out. So thank you very much, everybody, for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.